Super Earth, our home. Prosperity. Liberty.
Hi there.
Democracy. Our way of life.
Oh, hello.
But freedom doesn't come free.
No! Sweet liberty! No!
Hello there, and welcome to episode 97 of the video game podcast Between the Joysticks. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm joined by my co-host, John, over here. John, we're going to have a traditional podcast format today.
I'll believe it when I see it, Nick. I'll believe it when I see it.
We're not going to do any things. We're going to do the typical news.
Okay.
Into what you've been playing, and then we'll end on our video game character battle royale, because that's what we end every episode on.
I do got to say, before we get started here, Nick, you know, you've been wanting to talk about X-Men on the podcast, and this was the perfect one. It's episode 97. Like, you should have.
No, you're right,
dude.
You're right. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. You're right.
Well.
I brought that up 2 weeks ago, and then I forgot last week to bring it up.
I made that connection as soon as you said it. Fucked up.
Yeah, well, now we should talk about it.
Oh, that's all you, my man. I'm ready if you are. I have no notes.
Sure. Yeah. I don't have any notes either, so this will be off the cuff here. John bringing the thing first and putting me on the back foot here.
Podcast my
Did you watch the original show?
As a child, but I could not tell you plot points and things like that, just that I loved Wolverine and Gambit.
Of course.
That's about it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I was a Gambit kid too. And what about your love for the franchise? Are you fatigued?
Smart ass. No, I'm not fatigued because we haven't been getting a bunch of X-Men stuff, Nick. My love of the X-Men, I would say, is on the upper tier of like the superhero stuff. I think listeners of the show will know that superheroes typically aren't my thing, but I've explained this to you, and you know, I was watching Attack on Titan and Jujutsu Kaisen and some other things. And one of my favorite things in any form of medium is when you get introduced to a cast of characters, and then you slowly learn what each of them does and what makes each of them unique and cool. So like that's the X-Men to a T, right? And so with that and the show, and there was a dope Sega Genesis X-Men game that I liked back in the day. Yeah. It just was, you know, I was born in 1989. That's you know, I timed it right. So. I like the X-Men a lot, but not enough, I guess, to go back and watch this yet. So
I know.
So you got to convince me, I suppose.
It's really good. It is my history here is I've obviously I love the show as a kid.
Hold on, I got this. He has figurines on his desk at work.
Yes.
Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine. His background on his phone is an X-Men thing. He plays the X-Men theme song when people call him. So whatever you're about to say.
I'm just a little bit of. I am a big fan. They are very hard to keep up with as any comic book franchise because X-Men forever has been one of the most popular franchises in all of comics. So, you know, if you want to get into comics right now, there's like 16 different runs of X-Men going on at any time with any X-Men characters.
What a daunting thing to just get into comics right now. It's like, how do you even start?
Insane. Yeah. A medium that's, you know, had 80 years of comic books, you know, it's insane.
And like, I feel like a fan group that's going to be like, you can't skip any of it. It's all important.
Right.
You know, I know that's probably not true at all. But.
Right. And I always say just pick a spot and jump in. Don't worry about the backstory. They usually do a pretty good job of self-containing the stories. But I'm always been a big fan. I always like the idea, just the base component of, you know, you have powers, but you're hated for them instead of, you know, like Superman, worshipped for them. And just the drama that happens with all that. It's very poignant in today's world.
I was about to say, it's actually, I can see it actually being like how it would be if for somehow mutants showed themselves.
Yeah, you kind of got like how The Boys is doing it, where it's kind of the capitalistic, the egos, the athlete version. But then you also have, this, you know, racism against mutants and their kind. Always been a fan of the franchise. Obviously, Marvel's Wolverine is very high on my list of games, as any of our listeners know. And when this show was announced, like, I do think the original show is good, but it's Saturday morning cartoon good.
Yeah.
And it's better than a lot of those shows. Like if you go back and watch like, Transformers or Thundercats, those shows are unwatchable as an adult.
And you could, correct me if I'm wrong, but you could maybe make a case for it being number 2 to Batman, right? Batman animated series is the GOAT. Sorry if you hate that term. My dad hates that term, so like I hear every time he hears it, so.
Oh, it's big with the kids.
It is. Yeah, I'm trying to stay cool.
So, when the show was announced, I was excited, but expectations were set, they weren't going to be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it." And the first episode of the show, it kind of fits in that Saturday morning cartoon with some great visuals. The animation's great, but it was like second episode on, and especially episode 5 on, that it is so far better than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
It is very dark. It is very well written, and the characters are all great. This is one of probably the best representation of the characters I've seen in a very long time. And as far as the future, as we gear up for an X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie version, not the Fox version that Deadpool and Wolverine will see the end of, that this is the group you focus on. These are the stories you focus on and bring to the big screen, because it's really, really good. And again, take my biases into account, but
there's definitely some bias, but like for those people who go to these kind of websites, IMDb has it sitting at a 9.0 for the 54th best TV show of all time. And these things, when they release, they typically get brought to the top of those lists because you get super fans like Nick that are just ready to go as soon as it's announced. And then as people watch it, it might drop a little bit, but it's something that I had no interest in watching at all when it really got announced. But with the reviews, how you guys talk about it at work, you saying that it's dark has me intrigued, because like I don't have time in my day for like, and then Rogan,
villain of the week pops in.
And Jubilee go off on an adventure together. And it's like I don't care. But if there's actual stakes, I mean, I know one of the big twists in the beginning of the show, I don't know if it's spoilers about who's kind of they team up with, but like, I don't know. I might have to make some time. I'm really eager to get Levi to like get there. But I guess my question for you would be: you mentioned it's dark. Is it kid appropriate still, or is it more like teenage like level?
Yeah, it is. It is getting into teenage level for sure.
Okay. So maybe start with the OG
maybe start with the OG
like,
and go from there. That is a lot more tamer. But
I'll tell you, if it's not computer graphics, he's like, this is old animation. He won't watch Aladdin. It breaks my heart.
Oh yeah, that is sad.
Come on, dude.
And it's cohesive. It's 10 episodes, and it's cohesive themes throughout the whole season. It really ties it all together, so you're not getting like I said, outside of that very first episode, you're not dealing with it just keeps going. Every episode ends on a cliffhanger, and they continue, and it's.
All right, I'm gonna ask you a tough question.
Oh boy, here we go.
Who wins the X-Men Battle Royale? Got to answer. I need an answer in 10 seconds. 10.
I mean, the strongest people on the team are Xavier,
7, 6,
Storm,
5, 4,
Rogue,
3,
and Jean Grey.
2,
well, it's got to be one of those.
1. I don't hear an answer. 0.
You got to go with telepath. It's probably
Jean Grey,
Xavier.
all right.
Yeah, or Jean Grey.
Yeah, it's probably Jean Grey.
But it's just it's so good.
Happy for you, man.
Yeah,
it's always good. It's like. The Last of Us was one where it's like, thank you for being what it is.
Exactly.
But to come out of the woodworks and blow expectations out of the water is always fun. So
yeah. You always want things to be good. Like Star Wars shows or these Marvel TV shows, and a lot of them are not good, and you just like it's okay. But every now and then, the right creative team, the right passion gets behind a project, and you get The Last of Us, you get X-Men '97, you get these.
Do you think that this is going to have anything to do with the plans that they want with the live-action X-Men coming in, or do you think this is more of just an appetizer to get people, again, reacquainted, refamiliarized?
They're crazy if they don't at least follow a little bit of this template.
What they're trying to start?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Cool. I don't know if they'll stick with the same artistic direction and all that, but I think if you want to know what the core of what makes X-Men so good and above and beyond other comic book properties, it's in this show. Okay. For sure. So
go check it out. Disney Plus.
Yep. It's all streaming.
You're welcome,
now.
Bob Iger. There's a little plug for you.
All right. So Again, like I said, standard format this week, so we're going to go news, what we've been playing, video game character battle royale. But I still want to mention, if you want to be on this show, you want your voice heard, please, 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 I promise we'll read your email. Email us at betweenthejoysticks@gmail.com, a Twitter DM at joystickspod. You can follow us there if you want news about the show and the games that John and I are playing. And then finally, if you comment on our YouTube page at Between the Joysticks, we will gladly read it on there. And there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about over these next few weeks. And kind of while we're moving to this simpler format, it's kind of a little bit of a lull. It's the calm. You know, we know storms are coming, a storm of news and what we're going to play later this fall and later next year and beyond. And
I don't really appreciate Sony making fools of us though and just not announcing showcases. I really don't appreciate it.
Great lead into our first topic that I wanted to bring, John. State of play. I'm watching. You know, if we get a live announcement during the show, as they tend to do, these state of play announcements have been typically after 5 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah. So I remember every time I think I've texted you that it's happened. Yeah. We really find out during the day. So if it happens, we'll know.
That'd be so cool.
But here we are, only a few more days left in May.
Yeah.
Nothing out of Sony's camp. Before we get into the rumors, how you feeling, John? How are you feeling? Are we doing it?
I feel like I need to put on a clown nose and some white face paint. Is how I feel.
Are you still feeling good about the 30th? Maybe Thursday?
I am. I mean, I don't think Sony, since they've left E3, has done an event in June. I don't think. You might be able to find that, but they almost always go in late May. It feels like there's so much to say. Concord was reconfirmed for this year. There's rumors. Well, I don't want to get into rumors because you're getting into rumors. But you have to talk. We need to know. We don't know what the slates look like for any of the first parties. We need to shore up a lot of information. So. It's ballsy to say I'll put my money on Thursday, but Thursday still feels good.
I don't know, man.
I know. I'm trying to.
I don't know. I think Sony is in an interesting spot. They've been firing for so long. Great game year after year after year. Game of the year candidates year after year. It's game development time and cost has finally caught up to them, and now they're in the Microsoft position, and maybe they just don't have enough to say at this time.
Yeah, but I mean they've been fostering their second and third party relationships so well over the past couple of years also that I can't imagine they don't have a way to fill 40 strong minutes of things to show. I mean, it's been over a year now. They have, whether the first parties are ready to go or not, you can fill that in with some not bullshit, but you know what I'm saying, like just some random things from Square Enix, some random Capcom stuff.
But are we even going to get a showcase? Because it sounds like the rumor is more leaning toward a state of play.
Yeah,
which isn't a bad thing. State of plays
have
big things have come out of state of plays.
No, but if it is a state of play, I mean, I feel like I can already see it's going to end with Concord. They're going to show that off. It's going to show a couple other things. There might be one or two things in there that you're cool about, and then people are going to go like, "I'm disappointed. This is stupid. Like, what's everybody making? What's Housemarque making? What's Bluepoint making? What's Cory Balrog's new game? Where's
everything?" Sucker Punch.
Where's Abandoned? Where's Abandoned? Remember that game? Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen Thursday. I would just love that it did. But I still think that we're getting a state of play, a showcase, something in this area. There's just too much. Like, again, I've said it so many times. I'm a smoke where there's smoke, there's fire guy, and we're getting rumors now about specific time frames of game announcements happening.
All right.
If that's not, hey, I've heard there's gonna be a thing, I don't know what is.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's get into the rumors. There's two big ones, from the same leaker. We've talked about them before.
Bilbil Kuhn.
Yeah, Bilbil Kuhn, who's determined, on gaming leaks and rumors, they rate all these leakers, and he's more on the more reliable scale.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about Concord. You mentioned Concord. According to Bilbil Kuhn, that a reveal of Concord is scheduled very soon. He estimates it'll take place within 15 days. Now, there's nothing saying that Concord couldn't be shown at Summer Game Fest. That is kind of something that could happen.
For sure.
The announcement is expected to feature at least some of the playable characters in the game with a preview of the gameplay. Let's remember that we had stated that the game was inspired by the universe of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, following the first elements we had in our possession. The release date of the game is still unknown on our side. We also don't know if the announcement will be made at a PlayStation event or a Summer Game Fest on June 7th. We will be sure to keep you updated, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're now throwing out, like, this guy has been, I wish I had a list of the things he's been right on, but I've heard his name for a while. So like,
he's from deallabs.com, by the way.
Yeah, I think he's a certain person that a lot of people think he somehow has access to the Sony back end, and he's just able to get a lot of information that way. But if you're starting to throw out numbers, is it possible it's at Game Fest? Yes, it's possible that it's at Game Fest. But again, Sony, they'd like to carve out their own little time. They like to have their own little time to shine, and it would be weird to me.
Well, remember, the very first Game Fest ended with the Naughty Dog stuff. It was the Last of Us Part 1 remaster and the reveal of Factions, which is now canceled.
Yeah.
So there is that precedence.
Was that at a time, though, that we knew nothing about anything, or was that like...
I knew it was 2021.
Yeah. And I know there was a big, long lull for about a year and a half, I think, shortly, like right after they did the Wolverine...
2022.
They had that Wolverine showcase, and then I think they had like a year and a half of nothing. So like...
Yeah. Showcase-wise, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not unheard of, but no, I still think you have to say something in the next couple months, next couple weeks. I think you have to.
Okay. Are you excited to see Concord?
I'm excited to see what it is. I can't imagine it's going to be something that's going to get my panties in a bunch, but it'll be interesting to see. Sony started off with, if you want to include Helldivers 2, an incredible games as a service push. See, is it something they can foster in their own teams? Was Helldivers a flash in the pan? Was that more Arrowhead than Sony? There's a lot of questions that we need to figure out, but I'm not excited to probably get my hands on it. But as an industry guy, I want to see what it is.
Okay. Well, what about this other rumor? So the other rumor is of another Sony first-party game, and that is our beloved Astro Bot.
Yeah, put that in my veins.
The rumor is we will be getting a game simply called Astro Bot, again, revealed within the next 2 weeks, 15 days. A part of the game will be set in a desert. So, yeah, like you said, you're probably right. He's probably seen screenshots of the game or something.
Yeah.
And there's a new robot character that resembles a fox. I think it wasn't in this article, but I believe it is rumored to be a PS5 game, not a PSVR game.
Yeah, PSVR 2 subreddit is on suicide watch right now. They are not happy. I think, just... we're not getting Half-Life Alyx? That's fine. We'll get a new Astro Bot game. Yeah. Oh, no? Okay. I guess we're just going to keep playing Beat Saber DLC.
I think we said on the show we thought it might be like a hybrid. Like
That's what I
play
thought.
Both ways, but... Yeah, it'll be interesting if it is only a PS5
I mean,
game.
I could totally see a world also where it's announced, it's revealed as a PS5 game with like future update PSVR 2 coming. Like I could see that. They did the same thing with Resident Evil. But yeah, this is exciting. This is something, would be day one purchase for me. We've talked about how awesome the pack-in game with the PS5 is. Astro Bot's Rescue Missions, the VR one. Hit me with it.
Astro's Playroom.
Astro's Playroom, thank you. A little 4-hour bite-sized thing. But, yeah, if you give me a 15, 20-hour Mario style, I don't know if it's open world level based. I don't know what you do with it. But I know that the team at Asobi is going to be creative as fuck, that they always are. Like, playing the VR Astro Bot game, I will still maintain that's a better game than Playroom is. It's just locked away on, a piece of hardware that not a lot of people have, and it utilizes it in such cool ways where you have to like duck under things to look around to like get Astro Bot around corners and stuff. Yeah, I will be all over that when it comes out, and I hope so.
Yeah. If this falls just Astro, is that good enough?
Not for most people. For me, it is. For most people, no. I think Astro Bot is in a good spot because before the PS5 came out, I think it was very easy to look at that as just another Sackboy, another cutesy kid mascot. True. Of, I have a son that's 11, I'll get him this. But like, if you're a grown adult especially somebody who's been playing video games for a long time, who has nostalgia for this brand, and you have not played this game, you're doing yourself an incredible disservice. It's like the same thing when people go, like a Pixar movie comes out and they're like, yeah, but it's a cartoon. I go, yeah, that's true, but have you seen WALL-E? Like, that shit's great. So,
it's a game that is at least in the discussion as being on par with a 3D Mario.
Yeah.
It's that good that it oozes personality. We featured several of the songs on this very show, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, and with an expanded vision, expanded budget, you could tell Playroom was great, but little toned back in a lot of ways, right? You had you had a dart gun and a couple different little animals you could jump in, which had different ways to use the DualSense. But you give that team another $50 million, $100 million, whatever it takes, and you let them. I
don't know. They're
probably
not
that
kind of money,
but you give them what they need to, flesh out some of those ideas. I think you're looking at something pretty awesome.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so that's all I got about the state of play. We'll talk about some more rumors a little bit, but we'll see, John. It's if we don't hear anything today, it is bleak.
Yeah,
it's very bleak.
Yeah, I mean,
unless they want to go the same week of state of Summer Game Fest and
that would be so
Microsoft
stupid.
and
So
Ubisoft.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
No way.
So, all right, we get our hopes again all the time.
Yep.
All the time. All right, so let's go into some news items. Speaking of that Last of Us, The Last of Us Part 2 had a character called Isaac that was played by a pretty big actor at the time and still is, Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
And while that character didn't get a lot of screen time, he was still a big part of the story, and it is great news that they announced that he is reprising his role as Isaac in The Last of Us television show for season 2. I can't. First of all, it was crazy. Jeffrey Wright was in the original game, and I think his son or a family member was a fan. I think that's how he got involved in the first place, if I remember correctly. But it's even more mind blowing. I mean, he was in a Best Picture last year.
He got nominated for Best Actor.
Yeah. Now he's just going to be, I'm just going to show up in The Last of Us. I mean, our hype level for next season is through the roof.
Yeah.
And I think this is just adding on it when you get this caliber of actor to be involved in it.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Jeffrey Wright, you may have seen him in Westworld. He was a big character there. He played Bernard. He played Detective James Gordon in the new Batman movie. And he played Monk, who from American Fiction got nominated for Best Actor last year. So definitely somebody who has a lot of accolades. And you see the quality and care and love that went into season 1, and you're approached by this team. It's an HBO team. Yeah, you say yes. Yes, you do. Yeah. But at the same time, there's just many people in this world who view video games as a waste of time, whether they're wrong or not. They're wrong. But so it's nice and to see the industry become more accepting of all this. I think actors in Hollywood are starting to realize what the future is. At least the immediate future of movies and this medium that they act in, and it's video games. And so you can embrace it, or you don't have to. But
just prestige television in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's HBO. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's on HBO, you probably sign up for it.
Yeah, but this is great news. I'm glad they landed him. I'm excited to see an expansion of this character. He wasn't very fleshed out in the game itself, just a few scenes.
Yeah, but I had no idea it was him.
Yeah, exactly. But so to get the show treatment where we get this, we're not always seeing characters through the lens of the player characters. Abby or Ellie, where we can be with Isaac and see him just interact. And he was a very scary guy in the very few scenes he was in. So I'm all in. It was great.
Yeah.
All right, the next news item. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is indeed coming. Not Black Ops 4, I'm sorry. I said Black Ops 4 last week.
Oh.
I didn't realize we're on the 6th entry.
Yeah, who would have thought?
But it is indeed, this is hot off the presses, coming day one to Game Pass on Xbox and PC. I know we talked extensively about it last week, John, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that they let us know how many subscriptions, this added, what their numbers look like prior.
Only if it's good.
Oh, yeah. Only if it's good. But even if it's not, I mean, they're not going to tell us if it's not, obviously. But, man, I want to know because this is the use case. If this does not move the needle, there's only one thing that could, and that'd be Grand Theft Auto 6, and that's never going to a streaming service, at least immediately, not day and date. And if this doesn't work, they are going to have to figure something out. And I don't know if that's pull it off Game Pass to sell it a la carte. They're still going to get their rips from their PlayStation sales. If they're able to figure out a way to put this on Switch 2 and PC and all that stuff, then, they'll get the cut there. But no question, this is going to lose Microsoft money in the short term. The question is it enough to, turn the tide of Game Pass and see that reignition of subscriptions going, because they have been stagnant for a while. And if this does not push it up, then nothing will. And yeah, but they did it. They fucking did it.
Yeah, they had the balls to do it. And it's funny. We talk about these things and we're like, no way. And then when you think about it, you think about Xbox's position in this market. That what does it matter at this point? How many copies would have sold on Xbox anyway? Yeah,
this is the year. The first year it does make sense to try it. I'm sorry if I said otherwise on the show in the past, but at least this very first year, because if if it doesn't work out, if you start getting your ass handed to you and you're just staring at debt, you can always pull it back. And obviously, I think the people who are on Game Pass are just going to be on Game Pass. That's just where they want to play, and I don't think it'll hurt you so much. But you got to try it. You have to.
Yeah.
So.
And what do you think of the timing of this announcement? They have a showcase in less than 2 weeks from now. Why get this out in front? And they have a Black Ops 6 event like after the Xbox showcase, similar to the Starfield one last year. So they have an event all on Call of Duty. Sure, that's going to be about explaining the modes, the campaign, and all that stuff. But why now? Why get ahead of a pretty big win for Microsoft?
Yeah, that's a good question. I hadn't thought about it before you asked, but I don't know. Just kind of looking at it. If you already have a Black Ops 6 event scheduled that is going to deep dive into the game, you don't need to at that point really say, hey, it's coming to Game Pass, right? If you say it now, you get people like bought in. They're going to want to tune into the event maybe a little more. They're going to go, oh, cool, I'm going to be able to get this. So, you might just get a little more feet into the door initially. And it's an announcement that if you do drop it at the showcase or at that event, and people are only going to be happy if it's there, and if it's not there, they're going to be mad. So like having it there doesn't really move the needle up. They're just going to be like, okay, thank you.
Yeah,
it's not going to be like, it's going to be thank you. I will move on with my day.
I think you get a pretty good crowd reaction.
You would, but like I don't think it's that. I don't think it has legs really of an announcement. You're going to get an immediate reaction to it. But I think getting it out now, just kind of letting people go, okay, cool. Maybe they do have a plan. Let's tune in. Let's see what they have to say on their event, and figure out a way to make me care about Call of Duty again. Whether it's some open world aspects, which I believe have been rumored. We got word today that Saddam Hussein is a protagonist in the game. So they have some real, I don't know. That's such a weird one. I can't wait for the Bin Laden DLC. But it's I don't think it hurts to get it out now. They need some positivity going. They need to,
right, and it does provide breathing room for whatever other announcements they have at the show. So maybe they got a lot of big things. If Gear 6 is there, if other big release dates and stuff, maybe it is good to just get this out there. And
I will say it is funny though. Like reading the comments and forums and stuff of this, and there's just a bunch of people like, yeah, well, I'll see it when I believe it, or I'll believe it when I see it on Game Pass. There's still nobody believes what they're saying. It's like no, at this point, yes, believe what they're saying.
Yeah,
exactly. They're doing it, but it is you can see the damage that has been happened.
Yeah. All right, and then my final news item here: Zenless Zone Zero, the third Hoyoverse game, which if you want to copy live service success. If Hoyoverse has 3 games that are successful, then and why aren't we all just imitating hot anime ladies? But it's coming July 4th, PlayStation 5 and 4.
Sweet.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. I really got nothing. I mean, in a different world, a different person, and a different everything, maybe. But I don't have time. I'm literally, as we'll talk about in a second, figuring out that I don't think platinums are for me anymore. So, yeah, it's just, it is what it is. I'm evolving as a gamer. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, no.
But no, I don't have time for Zenless Zone Zero. As good as it may be.
I'm
but
curious about this platinum discussion.
Yeah.
All right.
Real quick, if you didn't have it, I just want to at least mention that there has been a Days of Play that's kind of going on right now. That if you are... What?
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I was very disappointed with no deals on current subscribers, the PlayStation Plus Extra Essential.
Looking through some of the...
It's all for new subscribers.
Yeah, so I would encourage everybody, go to the PlayStation blog, look through the things, like they're adding some free games into your if you're a subscriber, Dredge and some other good ones, but pay attention to, a lot of the fine print where it's like, okay, this is only available for premium members. This is only available for X, Y, and Z. You got your typical Streets of Rage 4, the essential games that are coming, SpongeBob SquarePants, and a wrestling game.
Don't passively say you're just getting Streets of Rage 4. That game is awesome.
The game is awesome.
That's my favorite beat 'em up right now.
Well, get the platinum, coward. You only got to beat it like 14 times. But there's some other little stuff. Nothing is going to blow your socks off if you're in the market for VR2 or a new console. There's deals on that. There's deals on faceplates for the PlayStation 5. It's all that kind of stuff. But it is something that they promote. It is something going on right now. So check it out if that's something you're interested in.
Okay.
Yes. I also saw no controllers, which I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I just bought controllers. I was like, oh. Like those are always there.
Right. Yeah.
So
the plates are on sale, but not
stupid.
not the controllers. All right. Let's move into a couple of rumors. Got some big ones. First up, IGN's Wesleyan Poole corroborated a rumor that the next two REmakes are Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now, Resident Evil 0 first launched on the GameCube in 2002 as a prequel to Resident Evil. It covers the events surrounding the star's Bravo team, with the player switching between the police officer Rebecca Chambers and convicted former Force Reconnaissance Officer Billy Coe. And then Code Veronica, originally released for the Dreamcast in 2000 as the fourth mainline Resident Evil game and the first in the series to launch on a non-PlayStation console. It was on the Dreamcast. It stars Claire Redfield and her brother Chris Redfield as they battle to survive an outbreak in a remote prison. Your typical Resident Evil stuff. John, I don't think you've played either of these games, have you?
No, this is pretty dope, honestly. I thought that they were going to remake Resident Evil 1 first or something like that, but these are the two big outliers that would be eligible for a remake. They're not going to go and remake Revelations or Revelations 2 or anything like that. But getting these seemingly in the same package is pretty awesome. Code Veronica specifically is the one that I really want to play.
Are they in the same package or are they just the next games? I don't know if that's been clear.
I don't know, but it would be weird to announce both of them at the same time. I don't know. We'll see. I guess, not confirmed, but either way, Code Veronica is sitting at a 94 on Metacritic. Like, that's up there with all of the Resident Evil 2s and 4s, but it's just one that I avoided completely. So,
yeah, I have not played it either.
You haven't played it either? So, yeah, I mean, these would be two that I definitely want to check out. Code Veronica specifically a little bit more, though. Because I've heard Zero's a little weird. I don't know. I can't tell you specifically about it. It's got an 83. I've heard Colin Moore already say it's kind of a weird one.
I played it. Yeah, it is weird. You are constantly switching between the two characters, and that kind of helps with puzzles. Like one person will be on the other side spinning wheels or whatever.
Just hit a button to switch to the other.
Yeah, and then you'll hit a button to switch, and you can be on the same screen at the same time and switching between them. It's very clunky. I would be curious what a remake is. And, it leads up to the events of the main game. And it released after. So they did the Resident Evil 1 remake, and then they did this game after that. So it's kind of a weird order of things because, the events are reversed. But it was okay.
All right. Well,
it's one of those things like a lot of prequels. It just tells a story that didn't need to be told in the original Resident Evil. You come down and Bravo team's already fucked up and already
the Resident Evil 7 scenario kind of where you're like, oh, the people were here and DLC for it.
Yeah, so it's kind of just telling you like how they got to that point. You're just like, oh, okay, yeah, they got fucked. That's basically what happened.
As you do in Resident Evil.
Yeah, but no, I mean these remakes have been wildly successful. I've loved every one of them.
Yep. They don't mess with these. So why would these be any different?
Right.
Yeah, I'll be all over Code Veronica at the very least. Resident Evil 7 really reinvigorated my love for the franchise. Like I liked 4. I didn't really play them much as a kid. I think I was a little young. Born in '89, so the first one came out when I was 7. Second one 8 or 9, and so played them a little bit later in life, but they got a good formula, man. Like if I can go shoot some zombies and be scared that I don't have enough ammo, I'll be fine. I'll be happy.
Any thoughts on them now going as far as like I mentioned the release dates of these games? They're now going backwards, right?
Yeah.
We got the big ones 2, 3, and 4. We're going back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the right move. I think I would rather see Resident Evil 1 remade again before I would rather see Resident Evil 5.
Okay.
6 is, I'd be very if they do like these two, then 1, then go to 5. I'd be very curious if they even touch 6. Like that is the one that nobody likes, but like. Maybe that's a candidate for being having the most value there to redo it and fix it or whatever you wanted to do. There is an interesting conversation to be had that I've seen people have where it's like, why do we only remake really good games? Shouldn't we remake games that like are shitty so that we can fix them like Devil May Cry 2 or something? But that's a much harder sell to put up the money for and get people excited about. Hey, don't you want to play Resident Evil or Devil May Cry 2 again? It's like no, but we fixed it. Did you?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, why always the?
Just because it's easy.
Yeah, it's easier. It's easy. Yeah, and it's already got the.
Oh, I just got to make Shadow of the Colossus a little prettier. All right.
Yeah, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. So, all right. So moving on to our final rumor here, John, you'll be happy about this one. id Software will be announcing another Doom game, Doom: The Dark Ages. It'll be at the Xbox Game Showcase, and it is coming to PlayStation as well.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, it is. It's like the one, going back to that Bethesda purchase, this was the one franchise like, oh, but I didn't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, and this is not like we saw with Hi-Fi Rush and the other games with the delay. This should be day and date on both platforms, according to the rumor.
According to the rumors, yep. Yeah, I'm amped. I can't believe it's been over 4 years since Doom Eternal came out. Like, it doesn't seem that long for some reason. And
time flies, man.
I'm not a first-person shooter guy, but that is the best example of a first-person shooter for me, at least. Like, just fast. It's bloody and kinetic and fun, and
soundtrack.
The sound. Well, and I was gonna say Mick Gordon left id though, so this will not be a Mick Gordon joint.
Well, when did he leave though?
A while ago, right after Doom Eternal, because there was something with like he didn't get paid or something.
Oh,
there was some. There was some big drama. So like, I'm not scared for the soundtrack. It's going to be a banger, but it's like I wonder if you will be able to tell a little bit. But why own an Xbox? Sorry, that was uncalled for.
For Call of Duty day one on Game Pass.
I guess.
Okay, well,
are you going to get? You don't really do Doom.
I did the first one, and then I don't remember if I even touched the second one at all. I don't know. I don't think I did.
I bought it digitally, so I couldn't really gift it to you. I don't know why I did that.
It's fine. It's just arcade shooter, not for me. With a thin story,
very thin. It's just got such a good flow of like, okay, I'm short on ammo, chainsaw. Oh, I'm short on health. Whatever, I can't remember
a lot of really smart gameplay designs. I love the idea of like the going in for the highlight kill. Yeah, because you get like bonus health and bonus ammo or whatever.
Yeah, you're constantly playing with those like meters, and it's just very, very fluid.
Right, it's forcing you to get up close to enemies I think is very smart. So I'm excited to see it, of course, but
the Dark Ages.
We'll see. Another reason to get excited for June 9th.
I hope that they, don't get me wrong, demons are great, hell's cool and stuff, but, I feel like all Doom gates do bleed together, where it's like, okay, I'm on a spaceship, now I'm in hell, now it's all red and stuff, and then I killed a big monster.
Right.
You know, I don't know what you could do for that, but it'd
mean,
be interesting as like big green area or something. I don't know.
I mean,
like
did it end on a cliffhanger? I know.
I don't know.
Yeah, the story's so paper thin. Why even bother? I know it got that expansion and everything, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. Who cares?
All right, so that's all I got. So now we can move on to the games we've been playing. Do you want to start, John, or I got 2 games to talk about?
Why don't you go? I'm sure mine's gonna be a little bit meatier, probably.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry, I have 3 games to talk
Oh.
about. I forgot. Take your pick. I got Unicorn Overlord.
Okay.
I beat it and platinumed it.
Oh.
I got Animal Well. I'm like 1 trophy away from platinuming it.
Okay.
And I got Dave the Diver, the Godzilla DLC. What do you want to?
Let's do Dave first. Get that out of the way.
All right, Dave the Diver got a free update, DLC involving Godzilla, and it's very disappointing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no. Why?
It takes about a half hour to complete.
Okay. That's
So-
the only answer I'll accept.
So in the grand scheme of things, if you're starting Dave the Diver, it is awesome, just little side content to do, right?
Yeah.
As part of your normal playthrough. But if you have already played Dave the Diver, this is not enough of a reason to come back,
Even though it's free?
even though it's free.
Okay.
And like I said, it's just fine. It's fine. It, like I said, it takes under a half hour to complete. You basically do a dive. You discover Godzilla. Then you have to run away and pilot a sub from another kaiju, and then Godzilla saves you, and then you get a few new recipes and stuff like that. And then they add, you can start collecting statues of kaiju. That's like an additional collectible that you can collect just through the normal game. It doesn't do anything. There's no bonus. It's just going forward, you can go and find them. But like I said, if that was just mixed into my normal playthrough,
Yeah.
it would be
That would
fine.
have been wild. Like, is that Godzilla?
But as part of like, I've been waiting, excited for this DLC. I'm excited for a reason to put a couple more hours into the game. It's just not there. So
All right. That's fine. Dave
the Diver is incredible. Like, again,
Oh, yeah.
10 out of 10 game for
Don't
me.
get it twisted.
Yeah, I 100% recommend you buy it, play it, install all this DLC so you get it as all one cohesive unit. But as a DLC to come back for, not so much. So
All right. Well, whenever I find myself diving again, I'll check it out.
Yeah, you might as well. Godzilla's cool, and it does end on there's a little fun mini game at the end of it. So that's pretty interesting, but I don't want to spoil it. So.
All right. Whatever the one that wasn't Unicorn Overlord.
Oh, Animal Well?
Yeah, that one.
All right. So, yeah, I continue to play Animal Well. I'm just about to platinum it. I just have one simple trophy to get. I have to pop 1,000 bubbles.
Oh.
I don't know where I'm at as far as... So I might be popping a lot of bubbles.
Usually they keep track of it now, don't they? Maybe. I
No,
don't
it's for some things. Some games do. Like, you can go into the trophy tracker and it'll say like 9 of 12 or whatever. But
opt-in stuff.
no, it's not like 500 of 1,000 or something.
Get on it, donkey.
But yeah, I got all 64 eggs. I have seen the second ending. It is a very interesting game from a game design standpoint. I think the language of the world is very good. I think, Billy Basso did a great job of kind of, leading you but not hand-holding you to new areas. It's definitely a game where no hand is held ever. And as you see the first ending, your hand's held a little bit. Second ending, he's starting to pull away. And then this third ending, just what I'm reading about it, it's just so obtuse. It's I don't know how people do it without a guide, but
Yeah.
or even just the egg part that I was doing. I had to look up so many of them that I was just, it's out there for people that like it. And I know people like to look at a Metroidvania map and go, this little side of the map, I can tell there's got to be something there. So I'll circle around it or I'll look around. It looks like there's an entrance right over here.
It's fun to a point, but
Yeah, but it's the whole game. The game is all about obtuseness and figuring things out, and it's there for you if you like it. Outer Wilds was another one where you're just thrown into the world and just figure out what happens.
Okay.
And yeah, John's frowning at me. It's not our thing.
I mean, yeah, it's to a point. It's like, I don't know. I think back to like Super Metroid, and that game is masterpiece level, but there's also parts of that game that you just need to shoot bricks and hope they go away, and it's just like, that's not great.
No.
That's not great.
I think the game's a lot better than that
For sure.
but it does have a lot of points where you're just like, how was anyone supposed to find this?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But I will have that platinum, and I'll move on. I won't go for this third final ending. But a cool game, artistically. The one thing about Metroidvanias is like the mood. It's not something that I think they talk about a lot about the isolation of those games. Hollow Knight, Metroid, and Animal Well. I think capturing that makes a great Metroidvania, even though I hate that term Metroidvania, but these dungeon crawlers.
Yeah, it's just too... we all understand.
When was the last Castlevania
well.
game? It's not even relevant. It should just be...
Yeah, it's just that's termed that because of two releases, right? Super Metroid and Symphony of the Night.
Yeah. But yeah, again, it's free on PlayStation Plus Extra. You can check it out. Yeah, it's cool. It's amazing that one person creates a game. That's blows my mind.
Yeah, it makes me feel like a sack of shit. Here I am just talking into a microphone.
And so review 8 out of 10. I think it's a little too obtuse. It's not going to be for everybody, but it is doing a lot of things right, and it's a very cute, fun, artistically astounding game. So,
all right, well done, Billy Basso.
And then finally, speaking of artistically astounding, Unicorn Overlord. I completed it and platinumed it. Not a hard platinum at all.
No,
like I said, 16% platinum. So
just do all the things.
But and everything I've said previously about the game, it's the depth of characters. Holy cow, you get so many. The depth of weapons, the depth of the gambit system that you can apply that I even touch. The things you could do in that game are astounding. But I will say this about the game and about a lot of these JRPGs is like, you got to call it earlier. Mm-hmm. Please call it earlier. These games are way too long, and I know I'm probably in a minority. But when this game is separated by 5 regions, but by the time I got to that 5th region, I'm just like, fuck, this is just, my eyes are glazing over. It's just.
That's 3 in a row. Rebirth had the same issue. Like a Dragon has the same issue.
Yep.
Persona 5, not really, I guess, but, you could easily shave that game down probably. So,
right.
It is a problem.
All of them. Yeah. You can always cut a island or a chapter, because it's not really moving the needle. A lot of the story of this is just very bland fantasy. The story's fine. It's passable.
Oh, my father didn't think I could rule the realm. Oh, yeah. He gave it to my younger brother. Oh, is that what happens? Look at that. I swear I didn't look anything up.
That's one of the region's subplots. So,
swear I didn't look anything up.
But it is a great game, and I think it's doing a lot of things right. And again, Vanillaware just known for just breathtaking games, and I'm excited to, it sounds like they're hiring for another RPG, so they're gonna have another title out there. But yeah, just
are they the world's most underrated developer, or like least known top tier developer?
Probably.
Not a lot of people know them.
Probably. I mean, their average review scores has got to be mid to high 80s for all their titles, but no, man. It's too bad, but yeah, that's also another 8 out of 10. Like I said, a very good JRPG, but story okay, length not okay at all.
Yeah,
you just gotta. There's just got to be something. There's just, I don't know. Am I wrong if you're listening and you're like, no, the lengths are great. I love playing through Rebirth for 70 to 80 hours. I think pal of the show, Nick, was trying to platinum it, but I think he burned out.
I haven't heard him mention it in a long time.
Yeah, he hasn't been streaming it, and I think that's a lot of these games. And when I looking forward to Metaphor ReFantasio, I'm kind of a little bit like, I'm cooling on it big time. So
yeah, and sure, you could not get all the trophies and all that stuff, but you're still not shave, especially for a game like Unicorn Overload. Probably didn't shave much off. Not go do that anyway.
No.
So yeah, it's an issue. I don't think I need to belabor that anymore. You don't need me to rant about anything, but
yeah, maybe we should just start listing a bunch of solutions.
No, the solutions are play the games that I like, man. Play my games. They're short and easy. Cyberpunk's for the birds.
No, I
know. That one. Give me 300 hours.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, no, it is.
Everyone will have that game, of course. I'll always say
that's
always
my
exception.
Elden Ring. I can.
Yeah,
forever.
We're about to get. Man, that game's sneaking up
less
fast.
than a month.
But yeah, everyone will have their drug, just inject that into my veins. But yeah, solid gaming. I'm glad to get these 2 titles done. I will probably be taking a quick just break. I'm not going to go into like a dragon.
I was about to say that's
all.
really your only big backlog game right now, right?
Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna wait on you and the title that you're about to talk about.
Perfect. Well, hopefully you won't have to wait much longer. I am not at the end yet, but I do feel comfortable giving my full thoughts on Stellar Blade. I don't want to make you guys all wait too long, while I sit here and finish it up. But
before you get into it, why don't you want to platinum it? Is it the 2 playthroughs?
Part of it. So I got to a point in the game where, and one of my I don't want to immediately get into criticisms, because I'll get into my overall thoughts here in a second, but it gets a little bloated in like a lot of games, like we're just talking about, where this isn't an open world game. It's got linear sections and it has open zones, right? Specifically, I've come across 2 open zones, which, they're not crazy big, but to run across them is probably going to take you a good 10, 15 minutes. And what starts to feel like when you first get there to just kind of like, okay, there's an exit there, there's an exit there, there's a tower over there which will activate my camps, and cool, that's manageable. You quickly start filling in like 30 quests on this map, and it's just like, and I got to a point where it gave me an ultimatum where it's like, hey, we need to go to a new place. We will not be able to come back to this place.
Yep.
You can't do these things if you don't do them now. What do you want to do? And
Yep.
and I've been wanting to move on because I want to give it to you. I want to get back to Rebirth. And so I made the decision that I'm like, I am not going to go for this platinum right now. I might one day. I like it enough, and I'll get to that. I like it enough that I think I'll probably want to come back to this game, but I'm not doing it right now because I'm going to have to just grind for probably a good 10, 12 hours of just doing side quests, and I don't really want to do that right now.
Yeah.
But
Well, good for you.
yeah, thank you.
It's hard.
It is hard, but if I didn't have Rebirth staring at me, I'd probably go for it. But like, I just that game is, I know it's gonna, I got Elden Ring, we just mentioned coming up. Like, I got to make moves. I have to make decisions. But all that to say, this game fucking rocks. This game is what I was hoping it was going to be when I found out it's a character action game with tight combat, and all the things that I like about the genre, Devil May Cry games, Sekiro games, things like that. Now, the combat is the star of the show. It's got an incredibly deep system that seems a little bit overwhelming at first, but when you kind of start to break it down, it's really not so bad, right? You have your standard combos, you're roping in heavy attacks and light attacks. You have certain sequences that are going to give you kind of like the finishing move of that combo. And that all feels very good. But then you start to kind of get further in the game and you unlock your beta moves, which are incredibly powerful special moves that level up if you are able to execute perfect parries or attack the enemy. Then eventually you uncover something called burst energy, which is increased based on your perfect dodges. And something else I can't remember, but those kind of are even more powerful attacks. You eventually are able to get a firearm equipped, which has regular rounds, shotgun rounds, laser beam rounds, heat-seeking homing missiles, and it really just lets you kind of play the way you want to play, and just kick fucking ass. Like that's every combat encounter I'm excited to get into. It's not very mob oriented. You'll probably get into an encounter, you'll have one, maybe two bigger enemies, and then maybe a couple little fodder things just to get rid of them. But it really then turns into, if you're a fan of soul style combat, which of course your boy is, where you're kind of having a standoff, you lock onto them, you have your block, which can just block everything, but you're really encouraged to hit those perfect parries, those perfect dodges, things like that. So you're kind of reading movements, but then the enemy will also do blue flashes, which if you hit up and dodge it, you'll flash behind them and attack them, or purple flashes, which is down circle. So it's playing with your reflexes a lot, but also allowing you to have a freedom to kind of tackle it the way you want to do, and you feel like a badass every single time. It has a rage mode in it too, where it's like God of War, where you kind of just hit that, and then you can just go ham on people. So the combat is fucking awesome. I love it. The music is great. I've talked about it on the show. I was honestly a little more anticipated for it than what it turned out to be, but it's a little more subdued than Nier Automata, right? It has this a composer that worked on that, but then a new guy. I was kind of hoping it was going to be more of that elevated badassery, and it's kind of more gentle. It's like more gently piano-y, and that just might be that you spend a lot of time at camps in this game. Going back to it's linear but also open world. It doesn't want to punish you, and that's something that maybe separates this a little bit different than like Souls games and things like that, where it has a lot of soul trappings. You come across these camps, much like bonfires. It has a rest spot. You can level up your stuff, but you come across those pretty frequently. You recharge your flasks, which are your healing items, works the same way as a Souls game, but it doesn't punish you in a lot of the same ways, right? If you die, you don't have to worry about getting back to your spot to get your equipment. You probably will have some of the enemies cleared out that you've already cleared, and the game is very, very generous with like health items. You have your 4, 5, or 6, depending on how many times you've upgraded it. Your flask that will generate every time you go to a camp, but you also have consumables, right? So this heals over time. This heals immediately. This is a Phoenix down effectively, where if you get knocked out, you can hit square, activate that, you're back in the fight. So it really doesn't want you to, it wants you to be challenged with the combat, but it doesn't want you to beat your head over the wall. I've never really come across a standard fight that's not a boss where I lost more than 2 or 3 times, maybe, and even the bosses, I've beaten them a couple of them first try, no more than 2 or 3 times. I'm fighting them too. So it keeps you going, but then it kind of goes back to the bloated nature of it, where it's like, okay, I did all the cool stuff. Now just go do a ridiculous amount of there's 35 side missions and 27 bulletin board missions. I had no idea that this game was going to have something like that. And side note, I hate it when games do like, these are side missions, and here's some more missions, but these aren't side missions. These are these missions. Like, just either put them all together, right? Or like, I don't know, trim some fat. But I hate it when games do that.
I feel like that was Final Fantasy 16. Is like, I don't want just baby missions.
Yeah, just. I feel like Cyberpunk did that a lot too. If I'm being honest, where I was
like,
what's a job? What's a thing? What's going to give me the things I want?
Right.
But I will say these side missions are pretty good. It's not Final Fantasy 16 trash. The rewards are pretty okay.
Well, they're outfits, right?
There's 74 outfits in the game, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I'm sure all you horny boys at home are waiting for me to start talking about the boobies. But yeah, I mean, so when you do like missions or you find these treasure chests hidden in the world, I always hate it when it's like, oh, more currency of a thing that I'm not going to ever worry about how much I have. But you'll come across something like, oh, here's an outfit, or here's something called an exo spine, which I've talked about, which kind of tailor your combat or how you want to approach it to be like, I'm going to increase my beta gauge. I'm going to whatever the way you want to do it. So you're going to get those, but it does lead me to the costumes. They're pretty fucking sexy, dude. Like, I'm just going to straight up say it. Like, it really does, like, you'll get a costume and I'll be like, ooh, how does she look in this one? Like, it really does do that. I'm just not going to dance around it. It makes it fun in ways where you can kind of see the different costumes.
I thought you weren't into character customization. It just took, the right girl and the right outfits.
Yeah, it took something.
So I've been holding back a story. John knows the story about this game because there was something about this game I was unaware of. So I went to a board game night with some friends, and a friend of mine there handed another friend a physical copy of Stellar Blade. And he's like, oh, you can hold on to it as long as you want. I have the digital version too. And I was like, huh, what an odd thing to say.
Poor K.
Yeah, but why? And I want you, if you're listening at home, to just pause the show and just think about that. Don't Google it. Don't Google it at all. But think about, why would somebody pre-order the game digitally and then get the physical version of the game? I posed this question to John, so just, pause right here.
I didn't get it, so don't feel bad at all.
Yeah. Pause, think about it, and then when you have an answer, resume.
We're back.
Okay, we're back. He got it because he didn't want to download a day one patch. So if he installs the physical version, turns off auto updates, he doesn't get the day one patch or any patch for the game. And you're probably, given what we're talking about, you probably know or have an inkling of why that is. And that's because, they censored the game. Sony and Shift Up, they censored the game. They have changed several outfits to not be as revealing. This is appalling.
What, did they put her in a hijab or something?
They covered her up. And this has been a controversy on the internet that I was totally unaware of. Doing a deep dive on it, it's not great. It does not make the internet look great by any means, because if you look up the differences,
it's not much.
No. This game is not holding back on the sexiness at all. So when he was telling me this, and I had no idea. So when we talked, I'm like, oh, I didn't even have any idea that they're doing this. And, and he's like, oh, they don't censor other games and stuff. Like, Baldur's Gate, famously, you could, a bear can have sex with a human. Of course, the bear's a druid. He's a man that can turn into a bear. It's a little different. It's not as straightforward as, bestiality. But, so I had no idea. I had no idea about this campaign. And as John mentioned, and as I've seen in all the outfits that are still in the game, I don't see it myself.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
No, it's a level extra beyond, I think. It's fine to voice your opinion, protect your freedoms, whatever you want to phrase it, but they literally just got rid of a little tiny bit of cleavage. And I'm here to tell you, uncensored or censored, I have never played a game where I go, I got to make sure Levi doesn't walk downstairs just to look at the screen, because it is like I do feel a little pervy playing it. Yeah. Granted, I could put on a costume that doesn't do that, but I'm a fucking American. All right, I'm gonna put on my skimpy clothes.
You earned it. You earned that.
Exactly. But it does, censored or uncensored or not, provoke some stuff.
Yeah, they didn't hold back, and as far as I could see in my research, it's just I don't think there was any kind of censorship here of any kind.
Do you see how they fixed it?
Yeah, I saw a lot of the comparison. Maybe not every outfit, but I saw a few of the examples that the people defending or wanting them to uncensor it were sharing, and I was like, no.
Well, I mean, they apparently patched in that there is now a uncensored and censored version of all of these suits now.
Oh,
I don't know if you knew that. So they had a patch a couple days ago that put a boss rush in, and then I haven't figured out how they do it. I don't know if it's like an extra costume you then need to again find in the world, or what, because like I have one of them that's quote unquote censored and it still looks censored, which again I don't really care, whatever. But they did apparently fix it in that way. So like. Which is like that's an okay solution. Like, okay, so you can be mad about it if you want, and if cleavage bothers you, you can cover up, I guess.
I mean, if you're buying this game, I think up front you knew. I mean, just look at the cover. I mean, yes, it is what it is, and how you feel about that.
But that's kind of the funny thing about this game, though, is because like I'll show this to people who are unfamiliar with it, and they're like, "What are you playing?" And I'll be like, "It's the most badass shit, though. I swear, when you get into a fight, you feel amazing." Yeah. So, it's. I think the only thing I haven't really talked about is the story. It is. I have not finished it. Mm-hmm. It is getting better, the story. But like there is just. The first half, at least, it does not move at all. It's very slow. Mm. There's a lack of really a big bad that I'm being concerned about. It's more just like humanity has ended, and and oh my god,
we're invaded, Natiba.
Yeah, and so oh no, they're what? And so it's that side of it, is not the best. It's definitely nowhere near Automata levels on that front, but it is a ton of fun. I would highly recommend it to really anybody who's into fast-paced action games, and I'd give it an 8. I think I'd give it an 8.
You're gonna review it, huh?
Yeah, I feel comfortable enough. Like if the story blows me away by the end and it needs to bump up to a 9, I'll give an update here on the show. But I feel comfortable to give it an 8. If you let me have a 20-point scale, it'd be an 8.5. But I'm just grinding your gears at this point. But it's a very solid game. It's not perfect, little bloated, but as a gameplay first guy whose pie is mostly gameplay and not so much narrative, it's a ton of fun. And and I want to give it to you so I can see what you think about it, because it is going to be something that I think you're going to like initially be like, this isn't really my thing, but as you just get a little more familiar with it, you're going to be like, okay, hold triangle, dash into the fight, chop, 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 use a beta, do that, And it's it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be the little baby steps I get to maybe ever
game.
completing a Souls game.
I hope so, man.
But I don't know if you saw Kyle Bosman has been rewatching old E3s on his stream, and he was rewatching E3 2014 where they announced Bloodborne, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I can't even recall visualize that announcement.
Yeah, it's a lot like their other ones, very moody and atmospheric. But this was obviously Bloodborne's very dark, very gross.
That game's so good. I love Bloodborne.
But I was like, oh yeah. That's also the same press conference where Dead Island 2 was revealed. Jesus. And that just revealed released last year.
2014, arguably the worst year ever in video games. Just from a game release standpoint. I think.
Do you know what they ended it on? What you think the big stinger on
for PlayStation?
Yeah, in 2014.
Last Guardian?
No, Last Guardian was the E3 of Dreams.
Oh, that was 2016. Don't tell me. Hold on. 2014. So you got 2015, 2016.
Other games highlighted were Destiny 1, Batman Arkham Knight.
Is it something stupid?
No,
it's not something stupid.
A big game.
Not Fallout, because that came out. They showed that not at Sony, and that was Arkham Knight. I don't know.
It was part of their final batch of games, but it was not Arkham Knight. It was also one where there was too much Grand Theft Auto in it because they were all excited it was coming to PlayStation 4 at the time. But it was Uncharted 4.
Damn, I was going to say Uncharted 3 for some reason. I was like, no, that's stupid. All right.
Yeah. So.
All right, that's all I got. I got nothing more to say about it. Play it if you like boobs.
They keep talking about us. They keep talking about a sequel. That they keep we're considering a sequel
for Stellar Blade.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have us. I am curious to see how this game's selling. I mean, it's towards the top of the charts. Yeah. I think the critical score should be a little bit higher. I know I gave it an 8 and it's sitting at an 82, so that doesn't the math doesn't really check out there. But I do think it's a little bit better than the numbers are implying. So I would be shocked if it does. This is Shift Up's very first AAA console release. They killed it on a technical standpoint. Digital Foundry, no qualms there. You keep this formula and you expand on it. Maybe make a full on Elden Ring ass open world. I don't know what you do, but it could be good.
And I have a feeling when it gets its inevitable PC release that it'll sell very well on PC as well.
Yeah, those mods. The PC crowds.
They need to mod it anyway.
I was talking to a guy we work with, Connor, and he's like, yeah, maybe I'll get a PC so I can mod it. I'm like, dude, there's a nude suit. You're fine. It's there's no nipples, but that's about it. All
right, everyone just cool off. We're way too horny around here.
Yeah, well, that'll happen. Whether you're talking about Stellar Blade or not, Nick. This is between the joysticks.
It's true. It's very true. All right. That's all we got. Let's move on to the last topic.
All right, so we need to figure out, since we're just doing a casual chat, talking amongst friends. I know you got to go over results here in a second, but let's get the matchups real quick just because I already started talking and I don't want to seem like a fool.
Sure.
All right. So for the first matchup of who we will be discussing today, we will have Fox against... Come on, Doobie.
Did we not pick these last time?
No, you wanted to do it live.
Okay.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Dante.
Fox versus Dante.
Which means 2B versus Rayman.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she's going to get... Rayman's going to cut her down. All right. So if you want to go over the results from
very quickly. Last week we had Solid Snake versus Crash Bandicoot. That ended in a tie, so we're going to have to rerun that one.
Damn marsupial.
One more week. And then the other matchup was Batman versus Zagreus. This one got a lot of votes. Hades 2, kind of hot right now. Yeah, just a little hot. So I think the engagement was a little higher on that one, and he just crushed Batman. So Zagreus is our first
the Zagman Final
contestant,
Four.
Yeah, in the Final Four. So thanks everyone for voting. Again, we post the poll at Joysticks Pod. But you can always write in at betweenthejoysticks@gmail.com, and we'll count your vote there as well. So, All right, John.
Dante versus Fox?
Dante versus Fox.
You want to start? You want me to start?
I mean, is there any way Fox wins this? No. Devil's advocate. How would Fox win? Fox's arsenal is key. The R-Wing, his tank. But it is very hard. Dante is power level wise.
Dante has ripped a motorcycle in half and used it as a weapon before.
That's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Power level wise, Dante is very hard to beat. He's very outlandish. He has done it all. He has, as a game about different weapons. He's through 5 games and his little Ninja Theory spinoff, which I keep forgetting about. I'm like, oh right, Ninja Theory did a Devil May Cry game.
Bat Guitar, you remember Bat Guitar from Devil May Cry 3?
Yeah, yeah. Just a great assortment of weapons. That's kind of what he's got to overcome. And I'm not the Nintendo guy anymore. I was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
So I don't have the feels for their characters, especially Fox. He's he's definitely on the lower tier.
Yeah, that's kind of like, regardless of how strong Dante is, like I feel like Fox, first off, is a little out of place at this point of the contest, if I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah. I
know he's got nostalgia. People love Star Fox. I've personally never played him. But this is, unfortunately one of those fights for him that I can't even begin to think of a way that he can make it possible, right? He comes in with his R-Wing, right? Let's say Fox is going to unleash his strongest move. I don't know what it is, but I'm imagining it involves his ship. If I'm thinking of like a Super Smash Brothers Final Smash, his ship comes in, you aim, he flies in, and he hits the person, right? Dante has looked at a bunch of pool balls floating in air, calculated where he needs to shoot to get them to all hit each other and go hit all the enemies. So like he's able to computationally like just figure out situations. He's faster than any fucking thing. He's a demon. He's strong. He's got
cinematic character.
He's got the guns that unlimited ammo. He can just fucking pepper.
Ebony and Ivory.
Yes, thank you, Ebony and Ivory, and he's the son of Sparta. A legendary demon. Like this dude deserves to be in the Final Four. I would have thought when I put this list together, he probably will get this far, and I think it's a pretty good matchup for him to face a little tiny animal that I honestly don't think would even give him a sniff of a doubt of losing. So, personally, I think Dante wins this easily.
Yeah.
And I can't think of
I'm with you.
A single thing.
And didn't we say that if we agree, it counts as a vote? Didn't we say that?
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe I didn't know if you wanted to.
So we can just make Solid Snake win? Is that
when I said, do we want to push it? And then you're like, yeah, we'll push it. And I was like, okay. Like you meant tie. And I was like, I personally meant because we determined him as a winner.
Okay, well, that's all the reason I need. And Solid Snake moves on.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, I'm bitter against Crash anyway because he beat Kratos. So,
although
this means that Solid Snake would beat Kratos in a fight, and I don't like that either. But that's fine. Yeah, I think we can. Okay. If you are a Crash diehard and you say I will never listen to your podcast again if you do this, then let us know. But I think we'll push him through.
Yeah, so the joysticks have voted. We voted Solid Snake. We voted Dante. So let's move on.
We voted Dante potentially to get to the next round.
He gets one vote.
Right now, the Final Four is officially Zagreus and Solid Snake, and then we are putting our camp into Dante. Yep. So, which leaves 2B and Rayman. I will let you start because
you're gonna let me start.
Yeah, because everybody knows that I'm predictable at this point.
Really though, like Rayman Legends, arguably one of your favorite games of all time. Nier Automata, also arguably one of your games of all time.
It is one of my games of all time.
Yeah, you are pitting two of your favorite characters against each other. I don't have, like I said, I did play both games, but I don't have the same attachment that you do.
Yeah.
Speaking of platinums, you have both platinums for these games too, don't you?
I sure do. Rayman Legends, arguably my craziest platinum.
So I think if we're looking at the definitive resource here, you are him.
I am him. He is me. I mean, it's looking at the character Rayman. He's a fucking wackadoo character. He's got no joints and things. So, you got to figure, okay, well, how do I attack him? right? If we're just talking as a character level and a game level, Nier Automata wins by a landslide. I love Rayman Legends, but like Nier Automata is in the running for my favorite game of all time.
It changed John's life.
It was so good. And in 2B, you know, despite what Nick may say, I like her for character reasons, not necessarily because she's also a hot babe. But evaluating them as fighters, okay, 2B might struggle a little bit against Rayman with a sword, right? Sword's one of her biggest attacking things. You know, can't really cut him in half, I guess, unless if you just get his belly or his face. So that might be a little tough for her. But what she does have is she has the pod, which is able to employ various different types of weapons. It could be a large laser beam, which would vaporize. If it captures Rayman, I imagine that just disintegrates him. You're able to wield a large ethereal hammer that could come down and smush him. He can probably employ some sort of weird tune thing that would get him to come out of it. But if I think about them as characters in their games, Rayman is another one of those one-hit KO characters, unless if he's got a little heart thing. And 2B is able to dodge at an instant. You know, she can dodge through almost anything. She has a ton of health. She has range. She has up close. She has, you know, the ultimate trap card, which is the black box thing, which, like, she just needs to explode everything she can. You know, that seems like cheating in this sense, where it's like, I could just re-download my consciousness. Like, I think we can even avoid that and have her come out on top.
Her face Monokuma.
It's just
the battle of that.
Yeah. But it also comes down to, okay, what does Rayman do to 2B? It's like he just punches, he twirls his hair and floats, he runs fast.
It's hard. This is hard.
Yeah, it's just another one of those. Again, I don't think Rayman should be in the competition at this point, but the fan spoke. He's here, and is what it is. But I go 2B. For many reasons, not just for bias reasons, but I think she genuinely wins the fight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think 2B is, you know, your typical third-person action superstar. You know, not talking even the mech suit she's wearing in the opening of that game and stuff like that.
I should know what it's called. I think it might just be a flight suit.
And stuff like that. It's just it's the body of work we always have to look at, and you know, when you know, at Rayman, you know, tune physics is
powerful, but
it's kind of a crutch to lean on and an excuse for him to just be able to take anything. But eventually, you just got to go, who's the more seasoned fighter? And you got to go, you know, if it's a platforming challenge, if they're given 2 courses and they got to see who gets to the end first, you know, maybe you go to Rayman. He's one of the big platformers out there. But, you know,
now if they were going head to head in a runner level, now we're talking, right? Rayman's pretty fast, but 2B, she runs like a robot too. That'd be interesting for doing one of those.
Yeah, so
not a fight.
So yeah, when I'm with you, it's got to be 2B on this one. So
okay, so we got votes from the joystick bros. I don't know what the fuck you call us. Whatever.
We got to think of what the term.
The joystick. I'm going to stop now before I Dante and 2B have a vote. Fox and Rayman uphill battle. So if you do want them to progress into the final 4, you gotta vote for them. But yeah, next week's gonna be hard. Whatever happens, like if Dante and 2B get through, I'm not saying they will, but if they do, Dante, 2B, Zagreus, and Solid Snake, that's quite the final 4.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree. So.
Let us know.
Yeah. Again, those polls will be posted later this week at Joysticks Pod. All right. Well, that's it, John. Unfortunately, I've been checking. No announcements of a state of play. We got nothing so far. So unless it happens, you know, we probably got, you know, maybe next hour or two.
Well,
for it to happen.
I wonder if there's any. This is conspiratorial at best, but the changing of the guard happens in 4 days. It's I wonder if they're just we're not even going to fuck around with this right now. Let us come in, and then we can do one at the end of June. I don't know. I just want to blame somebody. So I guess I have to blame Hiroki Totoki right now because he's technically the CEO. But come June 1st, Herman, I'm coming for you. I need my showcase. I need something.
Yep. Herman Hulse and Hideki Nishino will co-CEO.
They'll both feel my wrath.
Sony Interactive Entertainment. So... I don't know. I think, They just don't have nothing yet, as we discussed. But, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. All right. Do we have any other teases? I think, again, I think it's going to be the season of news.
Yeah, you probably won't get a lot of game updates from us for a little bit.
Next week it's here. Summer Game Fest is next week. It's June. The following Friday will be Summer Game Fest and this Xbox. So it's here.
Yeah.
We'll be building up, and we'll probably just talk a lot about the teases and stuff like that, and just kind of lock in and enjoy it with all of you. I'm sure you're all excited.
Yeah. Tis the season, as they say, and yeah. So we'll be having a pulse on that. I'm going to focus on Stellar Blade and then back into Rebirth. So not going to really have much new there. And get ready for Shadow of the Erdtree. You can count on me playing that the day it comes out. So Mark, we can talk about that together. You can write in how you feel about it. I believe Jesse's an Elden Ring boy too. So
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well,
again, it'll be like Elden Ring, the original game was. The oxygen will be sucked out.
Yeah.
And it'll be the most streamed game, most talked about game, and everyone will die and die some more. So, All right, that's it.
There it is.
It's another show.
How long was this one? With
long.
Yeah, with absolutely really nothing. It's just what we're playing and some rumors.
I don't. For whatever reason, we're talking a lot. So when
I got you to talk about X-Men.
Yeah, episode 99. The one after Ubisoft Forward, Microsoft, and Summer Game Fest.
That's gonna be 30.
Just buckle in for that 3-hour episode.
35 minutes.
35 minutes. Yeah, whatever. It's great. It's obviously, most people do not complain about long podcasts.
No.
If our podcast is bloated, like the video games we've been talking about, let us know. We'll cut it down.
We're pretty lean, I think, but yeah. Let us know.
All right, so going to the song, we're gonna do "Hot Pepper Tuna" from Dave the Diver by Gokey. Again, Dave the Diver, great game, great soundtrack. We've highlighted it before.
Shitty DLC.
Yeah.
Kidding.
And I'm happy to say goodbye. I have a feeling this will be it. There'll be no more DLC, but whatever Mint Rocket's side project is next, I'll be very excited to check
I'll be
out.
sad if they. I feel like Dave the Diver 2 is like another Hades 2 scenario where it's just like, I'm sure you guys have you had so many creative ideas. You put as many of them as you could into it, but you have to have more. So let's just do more.
Yeah.
Let's do more.
Yeah. I'm for it.
Flesh it out, make the weapons a little more robust, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Play around with it.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe an announcement this year of some
White
kind.
2, Dave the Diver 2.
Just every indie game we love gets a sequel.
Returnal. What else I need?
All right. So again, we thank you for listening. Thank you for enjoying our bloated episodes of Between the Joysticks.
My bloated rants.
And of course, again, we will be back to hype up E3 Not E3 next week in episode 98. Again, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.